Authorities, which is a new age research and strategy firm for brand and individual health. My guest today is Arpit Bansal, who has a slightly philosophical and metaphysical take on health. He is a tech leader with 16 plus years of experience, having worked at Flipkart, Paytm, and LinkedIn. Currently heading technology and product at DriveX. He also founded YOLOIndia.com, bringing internships to rural India. Arpit has consulted for top design studios and worked with the Gates Foundation on impactful projects. An avid traveler, he explored 12 countries, including war-torn and remote regions, shaping his problem-solving skills. He's taught computer science in Bhutan and is a certified naturopathy practitioner, blending tech, nature, and well-being in everything he does. Thank you, Arpit, for taking out the time. If you could just take us through a bit of your journey and what you've learned from it, because you've had quite a varied experience over the past 16 years since you finished college.
Uh, yeah, I mean, mostly it is around technology. I was a computer science student in Manipal as well, you know this. And I used to
Mhm.
write code before even joining Manipal because it was like a natural calling. I kind of
Mm,
tell well with technology. It's an easier path
mm,
for me.
mm.
So even post 2008, our degree, I've always been around technology. So till 2014, till I was working with LinkedIn, I was just writing code mostly. And of course, with age, the complexity of the problems were increasing. But of course, with maturity, um the difficulty level was okay.
Right.
Um, uh, and then yes, I became a product manager, which is I'm sorry, pardon, 1 second, please. Um, and I became a product manager, which is again more like a natural progression in this career. Most people, after a
Right.
while, wants to own the problem. Engineers, when they want to own the problem, they become a product manager. And um, and in a smaller companies, in a smaller startups, you will notice that there are technical product managers who are not just product managers, but also they write code, they ship code,
Right.
it deploy the
Right.
entire product. So I've been around that kind of a realm, and have been uh, around technology. And since till today, I'm heading product and technology in a TVS company, um, and yeah, the problems have become more complex, but I'm still doing what I'm good at. I understand technology. So yeah.
Okay. So, what does technology mean for you? Like, you've been in technology for so many years now, and you've seen it evolve. You studied it. You've seen it evolve. You've seen it grow. Now you're in a senior role at a tech company. So, what does technology mean for you?
It's an enabler, Harsh. I think everyone kind of know this, all of us. What is technology? It is an enabler because ultimately this is our hunger to deliver more in less number of uh, hours. We want
Right.
to do more with lesser effort. We
Right.
don't want to do some of the things which are very difficult to do. There are a lot of monotony in life. We don't want to do repeated stuff. So all the things that human don't like doing, we kind of build an alternate option for it. And technology enables it. At least the good part about technology, it never tells me that, hey, this is boring. I'll give you an
Mm,
example. Like for example, there
mm,
are um, there are so many. There's a term called as demons. We write
mm,
cron jobs or demons, which are always running inside the server spaces in the back end. You will never
mm,
notice as a user that there's so much of hard work done by computers. But these
mm,
guys, they don't eat, they don't sleep, they they are never sick, and they never complain. They are just working from the time when I start them till the time I ask them to stop. They are just working. So this is what technology is. Technology is everything that human, not, I won't say they can't do. Everything that human don't want to do is what technology is. And that is why people like us have started delivering values in the society, because um, this has led to little bit of improvement in the overall lifestyle, in the overall way. I mean, the comfort level. Imagine you are sitting so far, I'm sitting here. If if
mm,
we will not use technology as an enabler, um, it
mm.
would have taken much more effort and money for us to be able to pull off something
Correct.
like this. So this is what technology
Correct.
is enabling us and extending the reach. Like we are just pushing the boundaries of how much can we achieve in one lifespan. Um, Plus,
Right.
technology is also helping a lot of people to increase their lifespan. I know some people who are experimenting with their lifestyle.
Hmm.
They have a very data-driven approach towards their life. How do they collect data? Through technology.
Hmm.
Because of course they can't keep on monitoring their vitals. So they're using a lot of technology to monitor themselves,
Hmm.
their body, their vitals, and
So, what's your take on things like AI and wearables, which have really become popular these days? Like ChatGPT has created a revolution almost in the world today.
my take is simple. Yeah, I mean, we need it. It is yet another task which is boring and should be automated. I mean, see, ChatGPT is not that it is it's very creative. It's not creative. It is just fetching what is already there on the
Correct.
internet. You used to do Google searches for it. Now there are products like Perplexity, ChatGPT, which are basically just showing you the same data available in a more customized way, in a more personalized way. So if Harsh Maskara is asking a question, the only paradigm shift that has happened now is that instead of putting the same link in front of you and me, it now understand that okay, Harsh Maskara is a different kind of a human than Arpit. So let's present the same data in a different way. So
Right.
you get you're like, oh my God, he's just
Right.
answering my question, but he's like internet has always been answering your question. Um,
Right.
AI is just a
Hmm.
smarter way um, of publishing the same information in a very very compact and accurate way. Like it's so precise. I think that is where the accuracy is
Okay.
coming in. Also, but
Great.
that is like because you
Great.
said chat GPT, that is why. But there are many other ways
Hmm.
in which AI is being used, and we can talk about it maybe later. I don't know if it is relevant for today's topic.
Sure. 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 Let's focus on health now because that is the focus of our conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the information which you shared with me, you talked about the fact that as we breathe, we are living, right? So
Yeah.
breath can be a cycle. Each breath is a cycle, right? And that cycle can last for a second, or it can last for months, or even years, right? And there have been cycles in your life also, where you shifted job, you shifted career, shifted locations. At times you've been unhealthy while working. At times you've been healthy while working. So take us a bit through that aspect of your life.
Okay, maybe let me explain this concept because we were talking before and we can give a little bit of context.
Right.
So what I was basically trying to say is that um, जब हम सांस अंदर लेते हैं तो हम अपने अंदर से जुड़ जाते हैं, जब हम सांस बाहर छोड़ते हैं तो हम बाहर से जुड़ जाते हैं. So ये
Hmm.
बात सुनने में बहुत obvious लगती है, but when I really felt it, I was like, oh my God, this is a way in which I can optimize a little bit on my health aspect. Like for example, I started thinking that
Hmm.
is it like I have to always inhale healthiness and maybe always exhale the unhealthy part of inside me. So like that will become one
Hmm.
cycle of detoxification, right? I'm just trying to breathe
Hmm.
in only things that I want to breathe in, not the toxicity of the world, not the anger, not the things that I want to,
Hmm.
but just the part that I want can I breathe in, and the things
Right.
that are inside me and I don't know I don't like it inside me, can I breathe it out?
Right.
Now, of course, it started with the concept of breath, but then, of course, slowly and slowly, I started understanding that okay, it does not take one breath to have this cycle. Sometimes this cycle is longer than one breath, and
Right.
for me, the uh, I would say the most optimal time for of my cycle was more or less the 4 year cycle that I continue to follow. What I generally do is I work for 3 years and then I take a break for 1 year. So think it this way that uh, I'm I'm breathing out for 3 years and then sorry breathing in for 3 years and then breathing out for 1 year. So I take everything inside me for 3 years. I work 9 to 5 job. Of course, when you're working in a corporate, you have to focus on targets and money, and then there are, of course, we are
Correct.
customer first, but but sometimes we are business first and then customer second. So there's like all kind of stuff. I deal with people where
Correct.
sometimes I'm not always the best, uh, I'm not always the most humble guy in the room. So there's a lot of things I do in 3 years, and then at the end of 3 years, I just get this natural urge to take a break. And so far, I've been able to use this break in a good way. Like for example, I took my first break in 2014. Um, so I was working in SlideShare, LinkedIn, and we made, like, we were young folks. We made good amount of money with that acquisition, and it was the first acquisition I saw. I was like, wow,
Right.
that's amazing. Now I have money. What should I do? But I don't want to work anymore. So I went to Bhutan. I started teaching over there to small kids for a while. Then I went to Thailand. I did a little bit of freelancing in Koh Sumai, Koh Phangan area. I built some website for a diving school. And from there I went to Kenya, because, and all these countries, if you will notice, they were all visa on arrival, because I did not had job. I
Correct.
was a bachelor, so of course I will not get visa. So I
Correct.
went to all the countries which were connected from one on arrival country to another on arrival visa kind of a place. So from Thailand, I went to Kenya, from Kenya to Tanzania, from Tanzania to Mozambique, then I went to Ethiopia again, then I went to Zanzibar, then I went to Swaziland, then South Africa, and all in like this. It took me 1 year to travel all these countries because I was traveling on a shoestring budget. But what I understood is during this time, I was one, of course, I was vulnerable. I was poor. I did not had means, and I was in a country where nobody cared about me, and I was able to actually share a lot of things about me to these strangers. That 1 year
Right.
was amazing for me. Like when I came back, I was able to work better. Like I actually became product manager in Paytm when I came back from travel, and I was able to do this leap in my career because I was fresh, and I was able to make that pitch that, hey, yes, I'm transitioning into a new role, but I can do it. That pitch became stronger when I was able to take a break in my career.
Mm.
Second break that I took was, again, I worked for Paytm for 2 years, then Flipkart for 2.5 years, and then it became another 4 years of time. And I thought, oh my God, I think I need another break. And I traveled, I took a break again. I traveled to China. In China, of course, uh, I was trying to learn a little bit of how China do technology. I attended some open source conferences over there, but that was not really the reason why I went to China. I was mostly trying to understand their culture. And in China, I got first exposure to traditional Chinese medicine. We call it TCM. It's a very um,
Mm.
so if you will go online and you Google about TCM, traditional Chinese medicine,
Right.
they have, it's very popular in China. People do not opt for a paracetamol very easily in China. They still go to a TCM clinic and get something aligned through acupressure, acupuncture, pressure therapies, sujok therapies, um, alignment. So I mean, without medicine, they try to heal themselves, and I was really happy, and I was amazed
It's
looking
like
at
their
it.
version of Ayurveda. It's the traditional version
Ayurveda
of
is still
Ayurveda.
medicine. If you think Ayurveda is still medicine, you get these pills in Ayurveda. Na? These days, Kotakal
Correct.
Ayurveda Shaka, or
Correct.
anywhere you
Correct.
go, they give you these boxes. Even Ayur Central, all these people are doing the same thing. But it's again
Correct.
becoming a medicine. But in
Mm.
TCM, they are still thinking about energy chakras and ki um, and yin yang, and they have a very strong belief on 5 elements. Like for example, if you have a problem, they think that, okay, maybe your fire is more, can I add a little bit of water into it? So the way they are looking at is 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 very fundamental, or very very fundamental, plus their belief, plus they are modern. I mean, I can't say that China is like a backward country and that's why they're following it. No, they are not backward at all. They're very well advanced. They understand their things. So I got exposed there. Then from China I went to Russia, and so I was doing trans-Siberian. I started traveling from St. Petersburg till Siberia to uh, Lake Baikal. And in Lake Baikal, inside Lake Baikal, there is an island called as Olkan Island. So on Olkan Island, there is a There's a place called as Shamanka, which is more like a like we have Kailash Parbat, right, as a pilgrimage. A lot of
Right. Right.
people from South America who are into shamanic practices, they find Shamanka as their pilgrimage. So they come all the way to Russia, then they travel to Siberia, then they travel to the island, then they go to that spot, they go to that mountain. So over there again I found out an alternate way of healing in which they were using local herbs from the region around, plus if you know about Mongolian culture and little bit of Buddhism that is practiced in that area, it is a it is it is a different kind of a Buddhism. It is a spiritual spirit wala Buddhism,
Mm.
like spirit plus Buddhism. So they have like
Mm.
how we have God for everything, they have a spirit for everything. And they were healing
Mm.
people from all over the world who are really really sick. They used to come to Shamanka, and they have been people were healing them. And then again I got like really really surprised. Yes, baby. 2 minutes. I'm just finishing a conversation. Okay. So this is how my exposure with the alternate healing patterns. Although I'm myself as an engineer, but yet
Mm.
uh, I was getting like a full blown exposure to all these alternate healing.
Interesting. Interesting.
So,
So,
so
Doctor
yeah,
Elizabeth, you also mentioned that you're a certified naturopathist. So, how and when did that happen?
that happened in COVID, dude. So in after I had Parth, we had our son in 2021. This started. I was like we all were stuck inside and everything was online, and I was looking for some online thing to learn, and I thought maybe I can start studying again as in part time.
Right.
And I found out this university called as Alternativa Medicina, and then there is an open university in Sri Lanka which provides certifications in alternate medicines and alternate healing methods. So I filled a form. Like generally, I just filled a form and I said, "Hey, can I do a course in alternate medicines?" And they recommended that, "Hey, we have a center in Bangalore called Research and Development Institute of Holistic Healing," and they said, "Ki, why don't you enroll over there? Because if you enroll to the local center, then you can also go and practice with other students. There are a lot of patients who come over there, and then it is more uh, like it will not just be online." So I started studying with that center in 2021, and I'm still studying. I mean that it's a long degree. Yeah, like they took 3 years to finish the first diploma. Papa, you need this
Mm.
book. Yes, baby. 2 minutes. Huh? But why are you not sharing your PT badge? 2 minutes.
Mm.
So that is where how it started. For 3 years, it took first course, and now I'm doing an advanced course, which is again for 3 years. So it will probably go till 2026. Yeah, it's a
Do you
weekend
intend
course.
to practice as a naturopathist? Do you intend to have it as a side profession
I
or
don't
gig,
know.
maybe?
No, I don't think so. I do one. I do not practice often because I have my own responsibilities at work. But yes, it has definitely improved
Right.
my life. It has changed the way I look at my own health, my kids' health. Like I mean, I try to avoid giving an antibiotic, for example, even though his cough and cold might increase a lot, and I try to um, treat him with natural things, maybe
Right.
जैसे घर के नुस्खे बोल देते हैं जैसे or maybe with
Right.
pressure therapy, with Sujok therapy. Sujok is something which I would highly recommend our audience to read about. Sujok is very, very interesting therapy. This has this concept of meridians and a governing vessel, and like you can literally change your mood if you know how to control Sujok through Sujok. So that's
Right.
so yeah,
Yep.
but we can't
Now,
cover all this today. But
yeah.
this has been my take on health along with my
But
work.
tell me something, Arpit, that you haven't done a postgraduate, right? And you worked with leading companies and took breaks of a year after having worked for 3 years. Was there
Which we use.
any resistance in getting a new job, any questions asked, why you quit, why you took break? How did that pan out in the hiring process?
Yeah, see, so far I am not yet being hired by artificial intelligence. I am yet always been hired by humans. So HRs are
Hmm.
very gullible people. I mean, you can tell a very good story, and as long as they like the story, they will hire you. One second. Hey,
Hmm.
Maru, can we pause this for 1 second? Can we?
Once pause का तो नहीं, you carry on. Just
I
we'll
just want to like
whatever.
hand over this boy. 1 second. Huh?
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. So,
Hmm.
um, so as long as I'm able, like the way I'm telling you, and imagine if you would have been an HR, क्या करता तू? मतलब नहीं देता मेरे को जॉब, मना कर देता? नहीं करता ना तू ऐसा, तू बोलता कि यार ठीक है, काम आता है, और अगर आप अपना अधिकार समझते हो अपनी जिंदगी में थोड़ा सा ब्रेक लेने का, तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। प्रॉब्लम कहाँ होती है ना, हर्ष, प्रॉब्लम होती है जब आप अपनी ही कहानी को एक विक्टिम की तरह समझाते हो ना, तब प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है। मतलब आप गिल्ट में ही
Hmm.
चले जाओ कि यार हाँ, 3 साल में मैं इतना थक गया था कि मुझे 1 साल का ब्रेक लेना पड़ा। खुद ही अगर गिल्टी फील कर रहे हो तो सामने वाला उस कार्ड को यूज करेगा।
Hmm.
लेकिन मैं गिल्टी नहीं हूँ यार,
Correct.
मतलब मैं तो जिंदा ही इसलिए हूँ क्योंकि मुझे जीना आता है। तो फिर मतलब अगर आपको
Hmm.
नहीं पसंद है तो बहुत अच्छी बात है यार, मतलब ये तो और अच्छा है कि हमें जल्दी पता चल गया कि हम एक दूसरे को नहीं पसंद करते। बट देन
Interesting. Interesting.
यार मेरे पास एक, इफ आई एम मैरिड टुडे, देयर इज समबडी हु हैज
Right.
ट्रस्टेड मी फॉर लाइफ, ठीक है, मेरे पास दोस्त हैं,
Correct.
इसका मतलब है दुनिया में
Correct.
कुछ लोग तो पैदा हो ही रहे हैं जो मेरी स्टाइल को भी पसंद करते हैं। तो ऐसे ही
Correct.
दुनिया में कुछ जॉब्स भी बन रहे हैं जो मेरी स्टाइल को पसंद है।
So, are you still continuing with the philosophy of working for 4 years and taking a break, or has that changed after marriage and a kid?
Not yet. So last till last year, I was living in Goa, completely off the grid. Completely off the
Hmm.
grid. I was living in Goa with my son, my wife. My parents used to visit me. We used to have pets. We, my wife was gardening. I was doing a little bit of. I was running a cafe. I was doing freelance. But the idea was that again, because it was so from 2021 to 2023, again I was working. And I was working on a very heavy project. I was chief product officer for Reward 360, which was like a very very big company. Uh,
Hmm.
and I was tired. So by 23, we both thought that let's move off the grid and see whether this is a sustainable way of living
Hmm.
or not.
Hmm.
And just last year in October, we shifted back after 1.5 years of living in Goa, and now I'm geared again to work hard again. So I think for next 2.5 years, 3 years, I'm fine. Let's see what happens after that.
Hmm. Fascinating, Albert. Last bit, as I mentioned earlier in our introduction also, is that what advice would you give to people who are aspiring computer science or IT engineers? Because that is the role which is most in demand these days. So people who are looking to study this and get into these roles, what advice would you give them?
Um, one advice I can give, Harsh, is that don't look for uh, too many innovative ideas. Just try to inspire yourself from the natural things around you. Like, I'll give you an example. Most of the product innovation that people tell me, "Ki, oh wow, you created this product, you created that product," but most of the product inspiration has come either from the body itself. Like maybe I was reading like this book. I'll give you one example. It's right here. So this book, for example, has given me at least 10 ideas how to solve for the problem of messaging. Like for example, when you design large architecture, you need to send
Right.
message from one microservice to another microservice. There are packet losses. There are queuing mechanism. But when you see how body sends message from one part to another, how you will get inspired and you're like, oh my god, if this can happen in the physical world in the body itself. Then maybe I just have to replicate the same behavior and the problem will get solved. So for people who are getting into IT or technology, I would say take a lot of inspiration from your body and also the nature around you. See how nature is solving the same problem and try to replicate it inside
Mm.
computer science. And I would say you will end up actually solving the problem. So one of the problem that engineers face is they start with the prototype, um, and
Mm.
maybe sometimes the prototype is successful, but when they scale on that prototype, it fails. But the chances
Mm.
of failure reduces when you are taking an inspiration from the real world, because if that thing is working in the
Mm.
real world, you can you can
Mm.
literally believe it that it is working at scale. So then it will not
Correct.
fail in the ecosystem. So
Interesting.
especially as a product manager, you get very vague problems, very vague problems to solve. And how do you start? You start from maybe picking up a book about anatomy. Body's anatomy is very interesting. Just pick a book, read about different organs or reproductive system, read about your
Right.
immune system, and you'll find a lot of ideas over there that okay, this is how it is working. And yeah, like for
Interesting.
example, I'm currently solving a problem of replying to social media queries at scale by AI, and we are using a lot from how we respond to each other. So a lot of
Right.
this intelligence is going into solving those kind of problems. So, yeah.
Interesting. Last words on health and well-being, and then we'll close. Any last
Okay.
thoughts on health, well-being, metaphysics, anything you'd like to mention at the end?
I would say, please send your kids to Manipal. Then your kids will be very healthy all their life because they will make great friends, uh, and friends for life. And I think friends are the most important thing, bro. Matlab anything, and
Right.
uh, because imagine I left my hometown in 2004, and since then it's been 20 years. I'm living away from them, but I still have a lot of people that I can rely upon because I have friends like family. So my last advice on health is like have a good group of people around you, like whom you can trust, uh, and if you have just a few people that you can trust, that you can call friends, I would say they will take you out on your bad times, and vice versa, you will also take them out in their bad times. So yeah, that's about, just have good friends around you.
Right. Fantastic, Arpit. Thank you so much for sharing your interesting perspective on health, technology, nature, and well-being. It's been a pleasure talking to you. This is
Thank you.
Harsh Maskara and Arpit Bansal thanking you for your time and thank